Bonjour everyone, I am Anis Kayes and welcome to Parlez-Vous CEO, where we teach the corporate talk and get real about entrepreneurship. Each week, I chat with founders and CEOs who build businesses their way, through the failures, pivots, and breakthroughs. And they bring the fire. Plus, I'll drop some golden nuggets of wisdom from my own entrepreneurial journey. This is your space to grow, learn, and evolve with a true growth mindset. Remember, success isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Now let's kick things off and get this party started. Welcome to another episode of Parlez-Vous CEO. My name is Anis Kayes and I am your host, and I'm here today with two really special ladies. I'm here with Gabby and Michelle. So we're joined by two powerhouses in real estate and the co-founders of Girl Gang CRE. Michelle is the Senior VP of Business Development at KV National, closing billions in the title insurance deals. Gabby is a managing director at Bayburn with deep expertise in capital markets and credit. In 2017, they turned a 10-person dinner into a 3,000-member network, transforming how women connect in commercial real estate. And in 2026, they're celebrating their 10-year anniversary. So a lot of exciting things to talk about today, and I'm super pumped to have Michelle and Gabby with me today. And my first question is, so you grew Girl Gang from a 25-person cocktail party to nearly 3. What strategy has been the most effective in scaling while keeping the community feel authentic?
Thank you so much for having us. We're thrilled to be here. Michelle and I have had a wild ride with Girl Gang, and I would say the best part of that growth is that it has been almost entirely organic. When we hosted that first cocktail party in January of 2016, it was with the intention of creating something personal for ourselves. And every event has just built on itself. More and more members telling their coworkers. Michelle and I network as part of our day jobs. So we're constantly meeting women at conferences, at meetings, in the course of business. And there's also more women in the industry than we had 10 years ago, which has been really fantastic to see. But it has been the word of mouth that has been the most or the biggest part of our growth. And that's less of a strategy and more just a testament to what we've created and what people feel they're getting out of the community.
Also, like you mentioned, why does it feel so authentic, or how do you get it to feel so authentic? Gabby and I, we created this because we wanted it ourselves. So we've gone off of a lot of our ideas have been things that we didn't have and things that we wanted. And then we heard other people wanted. And then from there, we were able to listen to our members and hear different things that they were lacking. That is so much of really where it came from, is ideas from our members. Started with ideas from us and things that we thought we were lacking. And then we started listening to the people that are actually part of the organization. And that's really why I think it has such an authentic feel. And also you go to other organizations and there's a revolving coach, chairman or co-chair or chair of the organization, right? And that changes each year. We're the only two people running this thing. So I think that there's this really warm sense at our events because the people that come were introduced to us through someone or got to us some way. And so they already feel like they know us. It's not like it's a rotating person in charge. It's the two of us always. So I think that also adds to the warmth and authenticity of the organization.
And if you pick up on the word that Michelle used a few times, it's lacking. Which, coming from my background, it was this concept of white space. What aren't you finding? So we are not the first organization for women. We did not create something that hasn't existed before. What we did was we filled a void of what we couldn't find in the industry. And it was really that personal sense of community, because there are lots of wonderful organizations that are promoting different initiatives for women, but you're not going to get an award at Girl Gang. You're not coming there to be one person that the room is focusing on. You're coming there to be a member of the room. And that felt different for us when we were creating our organization.
And that's amazing. And when you started it, the two of you, because you're describing a lack, what were you both yearning for that you couldn't find existed yet?
Connections, friendship. Those were the first immediate, I moved from fashion into finance. So that was a really, really eye-opening moment for me to go from a room of women to a room of men across the board. But when I thought outside of just myself, just that I don't have anyone to grab coffee with today, it was really, my goodness, I'm not doing deals with any women. I am working on all of these cool transactions and I'm getting to tour buildings and stand on a skyscraper on a construction crane. And I'm one of one up here. And it was like, there should be another female that's part of this that works for that organization. And why haven't I met her? And why aren't we helping move the deal along together? So it sort of switched from personal to professional as I thought more about why do I want this so badly.
Did you both feel that you had in your career female role models or mentors?
I can start with this one. I feel like the beginning of my career, I didn't. I feel like I had mostly male mentors. I now do not agree with that statement. I now have female mentors that I go to for advice. I think that maybe is another reason why we thought it was so important. And I personally, like in my own experience, thought it was so important. Not only that, I was meeting with senior women that told me that they had friends and relationships of theirs that were their level that have left the business because they didn't have people to look at and be like, if they can do it, I can do it, right? They didn't have those types of mentors. So I was like, this is lacking everywhere. And I think that was a big eye opener when I was having those conversations with people saying that their counterparts are leaving the industry or the people that were older than them are leaving the industry. That's a call to action right there. It makes you want to do something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I started in fashion. You've seen Devil Wears Prada. Like, it's not made up. I did not have the greatest experiences with female bosses and female representation at higher levels within the organizations I was at. The industry has changed dramatically over the last 10 plus years to where there are more visible women in senior roles. There are more visible women in every room. To me, I do have those relationships now, but as I think about my early career and those formative years, if I can change that for just one person and say, like, I had a really great experience with a senior woman. This woman was interested in me and helped me along or meant something to me along the way. That would check that box for me because I certainly did not have it as I was coming up.
I've learned that back in the day, there were less positions for women at the top, and people had to fight for those positions, right? It wasn't like, okay, whoever's the best at the job. There were a certain amount of positions for women and that was it. And you had to kind of like fight each other. Like, that was our past, right? Women, like in this business, that was the past. So we've had to like kind of recreate our thought process when it comes to that, because that's not how it is anymore. And that is kind of the generation that came before us. That's what they had to do. And to be honest, once I learned that is what they had to do, I actually understood why they are the way some people were the way they were a little bit more, because it's unfair. And like, they had to like fight each other. It's horrible. But luckily we're not in that situation anymore. So I think that because of that, there's a lot more like, let's help each other. We're all in this together. And that's really cool and exciting that's changed.
It makes a lot of sense what you're describing, because the few women that I would see in commercial real estate or in real estate had almost adjusted their personality and behavior to mimic men's behavior to fit in. And I always wonder why that happened, why they had to do that. But it makes a lot of sense if they were competing for a couple of spots that they did what they had to do. And it was just a culture to reach the top. You had to make those sacrifices. And I want to go back. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, those cultures still exist, right? There's still the boys club, and there's still plenty of situations in business where you are acclimating to the culture, right? We all are in some way, because you want to be part of the organization that you choose to spend your time with. One of the aspects of Girl Gang that we really felt was important was to give you that sense of community, even if you weren't finding it at work, because everyone wants to define themselves by the fact that they're a woman. Not everyone wants to feel like they stand out in a room. So maybe there is that aspect of herd mentality of becoming part of the culture that you are sitting with, but then you can leave there at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday and go to a room full of women and just have a different experience, because there's a ton of people there who also feel that way during the day. But now you have a different connection point that maybe makes all of that a bit more manageable.
And last thing, just to add on to what Gabby said, it's so true. Like so many of the people that Gabby and I maybe do business with that are men and run companies, they've said to us like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. Like, how can we get involved? Like, we have we have a couple women at our firm, and we think that this would be so great for them to have this community." So they're all on board, which is amazing.
Yeah.
They see it and they want them to be happy and they want them to stay, and they know that this can be an extension of that.
Absolutely, I'm with you. And I've been in the real estate space for 20 years. I love going to all women events, especially in real estate, because it's just so comfortable. I think I was just used to going to events in real estate where I would be one of the couple of women there, and it's definitely not the same energy. The interactions are different, and as a woman, you have to be guarded. Sometimes you don't really know why people are approaching you. Do they want to do business with you, or do they want something else? I love that at a girl gang event, this is just super safe. You're here to do business and to connect, and it's a very different energy that I really enjoy.
Thank you.
And so about sponsorship and girl gang, what type of partners and sponsor do you value working with, and who do you ideally want to have joining?
So sponsors, and Gab, you'll jump in too. Sponsorship, it really started with friends of ours in the industry that wanted to support us. So we do 6 events a year in person. All of them are sponsored by the real estate community. And our sponsors include really big names like Vornado, like Rosenberg and Estes, like Anshin Block Anshin. I mean, we have like some really big names in the New York real estate world that support our events, but we want to invite and include anyone, in the real estate industry or any companies that want to get involved in what we're doing. I think the biggest reason is because these companies and these relationships of ours see what we're doing. They see how important it is. They like the exposure. We have 150 to 200 women at our events. Our event emails go out to 3,000 women in the industry. I mean, this is also amazing for marketing and getting yourself in front of people. Another big reason that people sponsor events is because they're hiring. And of course, they can be sponsored, put their job on our Work It Wednesday distribution, and that goes out to Girl Gang and they can promote the job there. But to be in front of the audience is even better. So we've had a lot of people that are like, we're in this situation where we want to hire women. We have these spots available. Like, let's get out there and let's talk about our company and what we're doing in front of the women at the event. And that's a great way to market yourself and be in front of people for sponsorship also.
So let's just take a quick step back in time. When Michelle and I hosted our first event, when we hosted our first 6 events, we paid for it. We put down our credit cards and told the bar, when the tab hits this much, no more. Or we pre-bought bottles of wine.
Yeah, we said that a lot.
However much
Scatter
we
them
felt we could spend at that event. And then someone came up to us, our friend Kelly Rocchio, who's now with M&T Bank. She was at Bank of America at the time, and she was like, what you're doing is amazing. Can I pay for one of the events? And can I get in front of your audience and talk about my platform and what I'm doing? You could have knocked us over with a feather.
You're like, what? You want to pay for this event?
You want to give us money? So she hosted this insane event in January of 2017. It was a collaboration with NYU and with Rent the Runway right when they hit their $1 billion valuation. And it just opened this door that we had never planned to walk through, which is a lot of our evolution and our growth over time, where all of a sudden these companies are coming to us and saying, well, I want access to your network. How do I stand in front of a room and talk about my platform? To Michelle's point, I need to hire women. Can I tell them about what we're doing? So over time, we have had the absolute benefit of the same people just supporting our mission and coming back year after year, event after event. But every single year, there's new people who are like, wait a second, my name and my platform can be put in front of your 3,000 plus member audience. And then I can speak to a room of 200 women. And it's like the idea of using the platform that we built so that other people can promote and brand themselves and continue to grow their communities is just cherry on the sundae.
And that's amazing. And your community and your members are really cool. It's really quality women, really warm folks at all of your events. It's really a pleasure to join. And can you share a bit more with the audience about your members? Because you have women from undergraduates to C-suite executives. So what's your approach to creating events that energize and serve everyone?
Well,
Yeah. Do you want to go first, Gab?
I was just going to say, at the end of the day, this is coming from such an authentic place when Michelle and I are planning these events and when we're curating the community and doing, the different types of hosting we do, whether it's a panel event or a golf lesson or something else. And I'm going to let Michelle talk a little bit more about that. But what makes our events so enjoyable and why we are able to have this span of women and career types and positions is because we are so involved.
Yeah.
We have spoken to almost everyone who's ever joined Girl Gang in some way or another. We have virtual events when people join so that they are never walking into a room by themselves. They have, 20 plus other people on the call that they can connect with and say, I'll meet you at the door. Walking around the room, making sure people meet each other. If someone comes up to us with an ask, we are doing our best to walk them in the direction of the person they're trying to meet. This really is a labor of love, and creating every single one of those connection points is something that we go out of our way to do.
There really is an event for everyone. Like I feel like we have our cocktail events, then we have a golf event that we do every year where we teach beginners how to play golf. And then we have a panel event, which like a lot of people like are like, oh, I want to come and like learn something new. I really think that like there is something for everybody. And I think that, because we've been doing this so long and the way that it started, we really do have, a group of people that started with us at the beginning and came to our events at the beginning. And those relationships are maybe a little bit more senior. And because they're so involved still, because they've been at this at the beginning, it's allowed us to really get a lot of different ranges of ages. One of the things that I think is why we're able to keep those people going, and this I'm going to credit me and Gabby for this, we literally will walk around the event, and because we know so many people, we'll make sure that people that should meet each other. I'm like, oh, okay, you need to meet this person. We're doing that the entire event. So, name events where the people are doing that. I don't think there's many. I literally, like, it's funny, at the event that you were just at when we were in Midtown, we were doing that the whole time. I was just like bringing different people together to meet each other. If you're going to go to a Girl Gang event, if you're standing by yourself, you're like never going to stand by yourself for more than like 2 minutes. Like, I will come up to you and introduce myself and introduce you to somebody. So that is why people come, There's a lot of people that don't love networking. Gabby and I love networking. We're obsessed with networking. We were born for networking. We could go to a room with like, we don't know anyone and we would like figure out how to meet the whole room. That is like 0.001. Most people don't like it. So we like the way that we approach our events is we try to make everyone feel comfortable. And I think that a lot of people have come to us and say, I have never felt more comfortable than at a Girl Gang event. And that to us is everything.
And I do want to touch on the two events Michelle mentioned and talk a little bit about why they came to fruition. So let's start with our golf clinic that we do every year. It's our November event, no matter what. Golf is a big part of our industry, and it is a shockingly high barrier to entry because no one wants to go and feel bad about themselves for hours when they're hot or they're cold or they're thirsty and they're just standing around looking at people who could do things that they can't. So as you start to have these conversations, you're like, wait a second, this is solvable. If you don't want to look bad by yourself, come look bad with 85 other people who have never touched
and
the golf
beginners.
club. Or if you're great, take a lesson. Have someone evaluate your swing, get something out of it, or like me, just have a drink. So it really depends on what you're looking for. But the idea was there are so many other people out there who feel the same way. And every year after our golf event, we have a small group that peels off and starts taking lessons together throughout the year. And we get them discounts to beginner lessons and they sort of go through the process together. But it takes away the fear of being one of one because most of the people, we used to actually ask people to define their level before the event. And it was at least 80% beginner, don't know what I'm doing. This is amazing. So golf was like, we heard this conversation going and we're like, we're going to help you there. And then the panel events, it was more of picking up on the conversations and what are people asking about. And Michelle loves trying new things. I will give her credit for this. You want to try breath work. You want to try a meditation coach. You want to try a stylist, whatever it is. She's like, I will try it. And then people are like, well, who are you using? What are you doing? How are you going about that? How do you plan your outfits for the week? So our events, the panel events specifically, have changed every year depending on what conversations are we hearing on repeat. So like last year we had a panel of stylists. The year before it was all about women who have created their own companies, developers, owner operators, et cetera, or how are women investing their money. So we really consistently try to listen to our audience and provide things that we believe will bring value to them. And you've been to our events. We're always asking for feedback. We love it. It's part of who we are as people. We're like, tell us what you want. Keep telling us.
And it's how we've grown. It's how we've grown this business and this organization.
I love it. And are you both extroverts? Because you sound like you're on, and I've seen you at events and you're doing exactly what you're describing. I see you the whole time running everywhere, introducing people, and I'm always like, wow, they must be exhausted after events. How do you feel after each event that you run?
It energizes us. And after every event, on our way home, without fail, we're on the phone and we're like, that was awesome. And people had so much fun. And what are we going to talk about tomorrow? Michelle and I have a standing meeting every single day. And every day it's like, what can we do next? What are we going to, well, Monday through Friday standing events, but we love it. Now, if you gave me a legal document and said, sit down and read this, you would see me melt into a puddle on the floor.
And me too.
Put me in a room where I don't know anyone and it is my Met Gala.
Yeah. It's crazy that also like Gabby and I, we didn't even really talk about this. Like we met in Vegas, like this is a long time ago now, but we met. And we just had this like idea to do a cocktail party. And the fact that I joke all the time, I'm like, thank God I like did this with you. Like, cause it could have happened with someone, like with anyone. And we just are so aligned in everything that we're doing. I mean, do we have like little things here and there where Gabby like thinks I'm crazy because I want to do XYZ? And then she's like, you know what, whatever, let's give this a shot. But we really are aligned, and it's why that we've been able to get to where we are today, and why we're going to be able to get this to where we believe it's going to go, because we're so aligned, and we know the mission, and we are executing to the best of our ability to like get everything that we've heard and bring it all to this group. So it's exciting, and like we're going in it's going to be really cool to watch us the next couple of years. But you know, that in itself has like been a really huge reason why we've been able to do so much, is because we're just so aligned.
And to our origin story, we didn't just meet in Vegas. We met at ICSC, at a real estate networking event, at Club Access, and we just like found each other. And it was an instant connection. And then I'm a follow-up person. So like I followed up with Michelle. She's an in-person person. We got together for lunch, and it just kept building on itself. But it just shows you the power of where those connections can go when you take the time in a room to connect with other people.
And I love hearing that. And the two of you have been running Gergant for almost 10 years now. Can you share a bit more about this partnership? Do you feel that you have complementary skills and personality, or more similar personalities? And what have you felt was the most rewarding part of building this together as co-founders?
We say it often in front of our husbands as well. We are the perfect partners. Like what Michelle wants to do, I want no part of. What I think is awesome, Michelle's like, please don't even explain that to me. So it has become a really great working situation as we've grown and as our initiatives have changed with us, is that we're not stepping on each other's toes. We are completely aligned in what the end goal looks like, which is changing on a regular basis. It's like we've never had a fight. We've just had really long discussions about things, because at the end of the day, this was personal to us to start with. And we were in line on what personally mattered to us, and we've grown it from there. So we've always had the pleasure of being on the same path.
Yeah. And like really like get what Gabby's skill, like to reiterate, what Gabby does behind the scenes, like a lot of people maybe watching will know how Girl Gang runs or they don't, but like Gabby like has done everything behind the scenes. I mean, she is the reason that the emails go out, that our virtual platform is where it is. Like she is that person, and I am very much the, you know, yelling at everyone, talking at events. I help because of what I do for a living. I organically have been able to really grow the membership, and then I'm dialing for dollars, like asking for sponsorship money. So we like really both have our spots, and I even tell Gabby sometimes, like, we're working with a consultant and like they send us a doc and I'm like, I can't even look at this. And like Gabby's like, I'm digging in. Like, so it's like pretty amazing that we've been able to like have different skill set that both very much so benefits the organization.
And if you had a piece of advice to someone who is looking to start a community similar to yours, or basically if you were 10 years ago and you had to give yourself a few golden nuggets of wisdom of what to do or what not to do, what would they be?
We defined our mission statement before we ever hosted a single event. I came from fashion, right? So branding was top of mind for me. And to me, it was less about where are we going with this and how are we going to evolve it? It was in this moment, what do we stand for? What are we trying to accomplish by inviting people to something? And we really spent some time thinking through that. And it was to create a personal and professional impact, connection, opportunity. And that has never changed. And I don't know what would have happened if we hadn't been so grounded in that mission. But I do think if you're going to embark on the creation of something, a company, a community, a product, whatever it is, you need to be able to very clearly communicate why you're doing it. And we did that from day one. And it is something that we come back to almost every year, or at least every time we redo our website, which is more often than you would think. Is our mission statement still the same? And if we hadn't had that sort of North Star guiding light, I don't know what the path would have looked like. But this is in addition to our jobs, our full-time jobs, our full-time lives, our marriages, our families. So when you're going to allocate a large amount of your free time, if you will, to something, you have to really deeply believe in why you're doing it.
Totally. I couldn't have answered that better.
The community that you're building and your regular life.
The B word, balance and budget. I hate them both.
Anything of balance? No.
I call it harmony more than balance.
I literally joke that we have 2 jobs. Like we have 2 full-time jobs. Like that is what we do. That is what we signed up for. My only, like if I were to go back and ask tell my early self something, the only thing that I would have, and Gabby's going to laugh at this one because she wanted to do it earlier. The only thing I would have done earlier is created this membership piece earlier, because this membership piece is so important to us actually being able to offer new initiatives. Like we need this in order to grow. So like if I were to go back and change anything, and I was so nervous, to be like, now you have to pay a very small amount of money a year, very small, to participate in the stuff that we're doing. I wish that I wish that we decided to get buy-in earlier, just because we are going to evolve, but the evolve means that we need to convert people, and that takes time. But it's coming. But I just wish we started that piece a little bit earlier.
We were really fortunate this year, and we received a Women in the Workplace award for what we're doing within the industry. And in Michelle's speech that she gave at the ceremony, she mentioned that sometimes when you're in the work, it's hard to see outside of it. And that stands true. Like we have been so heads down working on this behind the scenes, nights, weekends. Luckily, Michelle and I are both morning people. So we're up early, texting back and forth about it. But it is something I would go back in time and say, like, try to step outside of that and just be amazed by it a little more, appreciate it in the moment, and don't be as concerned about, like, why isn't our logo in the right place of where we put it? So things like that.
Absolutely. I know what it is like to be neurotic about logos, branding. I get completely anal about these things as well. And you mentioned, Michelle, being nervous before starting to charge a membership. Can you talk a little bit more about that and how you were able to pivot from that thought and overcome it?
I think it took some convincing from my partner over here. I think that we needed to get out of our own way. I literally think that was it. I think people expected it. They wanted it. Like, then there's people, they feel like they're part of something instead of just like an event here and there. You're part of a community. Like we're like creating a community that now people are involved in and part of. So I think that it's so much more than just like having a paywall. But I think, listen, change is hard. Like change, like when you've done something the same way for forever and you've grown it and people are into it, when you're going to then all of a sudden change something, like you're like, well, what if everyone hates us after this? Like, and no one wants to be involved anymore. Like that's scary. So it really is just like getting out of your own way, because these thoughts are meaningless. And people actually respect the fact that, you're actually putting a monetary value on everything that you're doing, the jobs, that you're promoting, the events that you're hosting that you're sending out at a discount, the 6 events a year, the entire virtual community, the virtual events. I mean, what we are giving is crazy. I mean, it's crazy. And we were doing all of that, not all of it, but a portion of it for nothing. And there comes a time where you either want to grow or you're going to stay the same and never change. And we want to grow. So in order to grow, this is what we needed to do. And people are about it. People are about it, which is great.
The support from the community has been absolutely one of the defining factors of us feeling like we took the right step. It did take us longer, but when we started this, before every event, it was, do you think anyone's going to show up? Are we going to be the only people in the room? What if 4 people come? And then one day, I remember we were hosting an event on the water and Michelle hadn't gotten to see the space yet, and we committed to it. And I was like, what do you mean you haven't seen this space? Like, we couldn't fit in our last venue. And both of us just stopped in the middle of the conversation and we're like, wait, our problem is now that we have too many people at an event. And it was such a wow moment for us of like, is it just going to be me and you sharing 10 bottles of wine tonight? Or, oh my goodness, people are waiting at the door. There is a line through the lobby of a hotel to get into our event. And that says it all. It's just, we are not just filling a room. People want to be there. They want to stay. They want to hang out for the night. They're not popping in to show face and tell their boss they attended a girl gang event. They're there because they want to be.
Totally. So true.
What's the legacy you want Girl Gang to create for the next generation of women in commercial real estate?
That is going to go back to our mission. It's that connection point, personal and professional. But as we do look at the changing landscape of real estate and the women moving into these positions of seniority and creating companies and running companies, and while this has always existed, I do think we see it more now thanks to social media and the news and the just organic spotlight you have as a woman. But the concept of lifting up the others around you as you rise, and Michelle is absolutely phenomenal about this. She tells people they have to put women on deals. We promote hiring other women. I'll let you talk to it, but it's just such a powerful thing to leave behind is the idea of bringing other women along with you.
Yeah, listen, my biggest thing and what I talk about constantly is if you're a woman in this business, you need to look out for other women. You need to hire them on your teams. You need to hire them on your deals. You need to mentor them. Like that is what we need to be doing. Now, does it mean you don't hire men? No, of course not. Does it mean you don't elevate and help men? No. I'm just saying that it needs to be in the forefront of your mind that a woman needs to be in these worlds of yours. And it's important. 1, 2, 3, whatever. But it's something that we all have to like constantly like pay attention to and make sure we're doing. Because as we do this, that means we all, because we're successful and we're looking out for the other people that are successful that are women also, it means we all rise together, right? That is like, I think like the most important thing. And I try to stress it all the time. I'm like, look at you're an owner operator, you're a woman and you're picking your deal team. Like, I hope you at least have one woman on there, like things like that. Like it's important. So I try to nail that into people's heads whenever I can.
And the other thing she's very good about reinforcing is on the other side of the equation, you have to ask. You have to ask people.
Oh, right.
You're
obviously.
So you talk about it because you're great about
yeah, I mean, you can't, like, the biggest thing I say in life, and everyone I feel like knows this, and I'm not always the best at it, but I try very hard every day, is if you don't ask for something, you're not going to get it. So if you don't say, like, I'm in the title business. I'll give you a perfect example because this is what I tell my friends in the industry to do all the time. If you're an attorney and you have someone you want to work with in the title space, or you're an owner operator and you have someone you want to work with in the title space, you have to say, this is my deal. This is who I'm working. This. You can't just like use the person that maybe your boss used or the path of least resistance. You have to actually usually raise your hand and be like, I have someone I want to use. If you want to hire an attorney that's a woman, I have someone I want to use on this deal. Like you can't just like expect it to figure itself out. You have to like ask for it / tell people who you're using in your team. And I always say to people, use the excuse, I need a woman in this deal. I mean, what are people going to say to that? No. Like there's no women in this deal. I need a woman on this deal. So I feel like those it works. I mean, If I look at the people that I did deals with when I first started in the industry, and I look at the people I do deals with now, I never did any business with women. And now half my business is women directed business. So that's pretty amazing.
Yes.
I mean, listen, am I getting older? Also that. But I think that people are subscribing to that. And I hear they're doing it with not just Title, they're doing it with other people in their world too, which is incredible.
It's incredible. This is music to my ears. And Michelle and Gabby, what's coming up with Girl Gangs for the next year? So it's your big 10-year anniversary. And can you share with our audience a bit more about your membership and sponsorships, and where can people find you?
Yeah, perfect. So we have 4 different levels of membership that start at student and go all the way up to a corporate member. Those can all be found on our website. We also include it in all of our outbound email materials. So if you are looking for us, our website is girlgangcre.com. We can be reached at info@girlgangcre.com and found on Instagram at girlgangcre. We are constantly putting out information, reminding people where they can find these materials. And our next event is November 18th. That is our golf clinic. And then January will be our 10-year anniversary party.
If you're interested in sponsorship, membership, questions, any of the above, please reach out to us. If you want to introduce us to someone that's interested in any of the above, please reach out to us. This 10th anniversary marks something bigger than just Girl Gang's 10th anniversary party. This marks, I think, a movement in our little way in the industry. And, it's really something to celebrate. And we're proud of where we've come and where we are today. And we're just going to keep growing. The sky's the limit.
I love it. Michelle, Gabby, it was a pleasure and honor to have you on the show today. It was so nice to hear more about Girl Gang and your vision, and I'm so excited for your 10-year anniversary. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Keep
you.
your eye out because we'll be announcing our 2026 dates next week, so you can start holding those on your calendar.
Amazing. And that wraps up today's episode. I am Annelise Cayez, and I can't wait to join you again next week. Thanks for listening to Parlez-Vous CEO today. If you enjoyed the show, leave a 5-star review. It helps us keep going.